Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Today we are playing one of my current favorite games. It's called Tainted Grail Conquest. It's a roguelite deck builder and it can be replayed infinite amount of times, and I had already so much fun with this game, so I want to share this with you guys. Right, we will go into a new game. We will quickly create our character. And alright, look for some cool tattoos. I like these ones and just the tattoo color. So I will make timestamps in the video, so if you are not interested in the story, you can just jump right into the action.
King Arthur promised us safety on these shores. Instead, we found stormy seas, rocks like shark teeth, and treacherous mists. Those few who managed to land will be set by hunger, cold, and nightmares born of weirdness. My people settled around a gnarled old statue. Though we did not understand its origin or purpose, the enemy seemed to avoid it. That was good enough. For a time. In the end, the winds of weirdness only grew stronger, and the statue failed to protect the settlement. There was fear, despair, and then nothingness, as reality melted around us.
You awake to nothingness. All you can sense is darkness, a dense mass of emptiness so total that even your thoughts disintegrate. Then you hear whistling. An eternity seems to pass before something materializes in the darkness with you. Something angry.
Damn it, you weren't supposed to land here. Damn it all to hell.
The creature pauses for a moment, clearly weighing up some options. He taps a finger against one of his horns.
Now, listen, there's a lot to do and no time to waste. What can we try? Perfect. You can speak, and yes, these are really great questions. No easy answers, though. Sorry to disappoint. Now, listen closely. Are you ready? Brace yourself, because what I'm going to tell you is rather important. You're gone. Your village is gone. Everything you've ever known is gone. Yes, everything and everyone, including your very own self, as I mentioned already. However,
the creature taps two hooves together, marking a dramatic pause.
There is a small chance, an infinitesimally tiny chance, really, to bring it all back. You were saved from death in order to keep your reality from falling apart. But, well, it's not going to be easy. First, we must ensure that you're in good enough condition to actually do anything. Which brings us to the problematic part. Your body.
You squint down at your feet and hands in the darkness. They seem perfectly fine.
Oh no. Oh, goodness me, no. That's just an illusion. I had to get you here somehow, didn't I? Otherwise, you'd start talking about the afterlife and whatnot. And this, my friend, is not an afterlife. This is a total mess. But let's see what we can do. Here, this little trick should get us started at least.
Alright, so here's the array where you can see the different classes that you can play, and The more runs you do, the more experience you get and the more classes you unlock. For this run we have to start with the Wyrdhunter, and we have base HP, base damage, our ultimate ability that I will explain later, and our passive skill. So, for newer players I can definitely recommend to always read this through, and we will select this character now.
Well, it seems your soul isn't strong enough to be picky about its vessel yet. Don't worry, you'll grow. Now, we need to see whether my little trick actually worked.
The goat weaves his fingers in an intricate series of gestures. With a final flourish, he conjures a terrifying creature into the emptiness.
Aha, here we go. This is a powerful Avalonian warlock. But don't worry, he's not really here. Not in the truest sense. Your goal here is simple. Fight. Show me that you've got what it takes.
Alright, so we are now facing the tutorial boss, and I will explain everything now. We have here our character, we have our health bar, we have our base armor and our base damage. We have the same for our opponent, and one big advantage is that when you hover with your mouse over your opponent, you can read what they are doing. This is the 4 dweller, it will perform regular attacks, it will buff itself and summon minions occasionally. So here on the upper right you can see all of our passive skills, which is just our class passive skill currently, and you want to work with your passive skill and your ultimate ability here on the lower left. Your passive skill says that we need to deal hits to our opponent and give them by that some hunter marks and make them vulnerable after we have accumulated 4 marks on them. The effect of being vulnerable says that it doubles the damage received from any source. Our ultimate ability here on the lower left says that we need to deal hits to charge up our ultimate. And the ultimate is an additional hit that deals bonus damage depending on how many charges we have. Here on the lower right you can see our energy, so we are able to use cards that sum up to a total amount of 3 energy so far. We have 3 cards in hand, and there are different card types. We have attack cards, we have stance cards. So what we want to do now is we want to check what is our opponent to do in his turn. You can see above the head our enemy intends to use a normal attack in their turn. So what we'll do, we will play the block card that says block next one incoming hit. So now we lost 1 energy, and we will use the remaining energy to deal some hits to our opponent. As we got the buff, so got our opponent a debuff. He got 2 hunter's marks, and 2 more will make him vulnerable for 1 turn. Our cards went to the graveyard, and we also have an exile pile, we have a draw pile, and we have a discard pile. That becomes relevant when your character grows stronger and you get way more cards. We will end our turn here. And now our opponent is about to perform 2 times 10 attack. We only have 1 block in hand, but we drew another stance card that says we stun our opponent. So now our opponent is stunned for this turn, and if we would perform another stun, our opponent would lose some armor. But we will go for the hit, and that's our turn. Now our opponent is about to perform 1 normal attack again, so we will block, deal 2 attacks, and we just made him vulnerable. That gives him the debuff vulnerable for 1 turn that says plus 100% incoming damage. We will go for another attack, and you can see that we are gathering charges for our ultimate ability. That's our turn. Now our opponent is about to prepare for a special attack, so we have time because it takes him 1 turn. And now we will use this new card that is very helpful for our character because it deals 3 hits, and each hit will stack up our ultimate ability. As you can see, we have just gotten a lot of stacks for our passive skill, or for our ultimate ability. Our opponent now will perform a strong attack, and sadly we have no block cards in hand, so all we can do is just keep attacking our opponent and we sadly have to take the 50. Now we are introduced to our inventory. We have a healing mixture there, and we will use it to restore some health. So our opponent is about to perform 2 × 10 attack, so we will use 2 block cards and we will go for a hit. Alright, so we are up to 16 charges already, and our opponent intends to buff himself up. So what we will do, we will make our opponent vulnerable, and now we will go for our ultimate ability. So that dealt quite a bit of damage, and now we will go for another hit, because we don't have to fear any attack of our opponent. Our opponent just buffed up. You can see that its base damage increased until end of combat, and that our opponent gained some armor. Luckily, we are introduced into some new attack cards that will reduce our opponent's armor until end of combat. But don't forget, we have to prepare for the incoming attacks, so we will play 2 block cards and one of those overhead swings that decreases our opponent's armor. We just blocked there. Our opponent is to use a strong attack on us, so we will stun him and use another overhead swing, because we can also decrease our opponent's armor until end of combat. Alright, so now our opponent is about to summon some allies. What we will do now, we will try to get in as much damage as possible, so we will go for these. Okay, we should have played the overhead swing first to reduce the armor. Now our opponent is vulnerable too, and yeah, we did some damage this turn. Alright, our opponent summoned some allies, and the problem with allies is that the attack order of opponents is always from left to right. We have 2 block cards in hand, so what will happen now is that if we play 2 blocks, we would block the 2 attacks of the Stray Ghost on the left and would take the 20 from the 4 Dweller and the 4 from the other Stray Ghost. What we need to work around now is we need to get rid of one of those ghosts, and then one of our blocks can absorb the incoming hit. There are different ways how you can approach this, and one way we can do it is like use the small strikes and hope that we hit enough of these small ghosts, or we secure a kill with our ultimate ability. I want to play it safe now, so we will use our ultimate ability to take out this ghost. We can play 1 block, so we are secured from his attacks, and now we can go for some small strikes. Luckily, we also hit the other Stray Ghost, so we can decrease our opponent's armor again. That went very smooth, so now we can work on stacking up again, and due to our opponent buffing himself up again, we can just keep going. Okay, so now we will take a lot of damage because we only have 1 block and our opponent is about to perform 4 × 5 damage, so we will just keep working on decreasing its armor and its barrier. As you can see, a barrier is nothing else but an additional pool of health. But we didn't land any hits, so we also didn't get any hunter marks. So now we take some damage here, and we are about to take another 2 × 10. So just keep stacking up our ultimate with hits. Now we are introduced to another stance card that has the ability on it. Ability says return to your hand every turn. That is very powerful and very helpful, but we also need to work around what our opponent is about to do. 2 × 10 is about to come in, so we will play 1 block card. We will go for the overhead swing again, and we need to keep stacking up our ultimate, so we will work on the small strikes here. So we took the 10. Our opponent is about to buff up, so what we'll do is we will decrease our opponent's armor. Because we have nothing else in hand, we will go for the broad reach and go for the attack. What also would have been a better approach in my opinion now is to go for the stun and the overhead swing to decrease our opponent's armor and make sure that he doesn't puff up, but okay, it just so happened. Alright, so our opponent is about to hit us, and sadly we have no block in hand, so we need to stun him and go for another overhead swing to keep decreasing our opponent's armor. Another 4 times 5, so we have 3 block cards in hand. So we will play all 3 and sadly take 5. Alright, so now we can block the attack, go for the overhead swing and do some small strikes. We are at 17 charges, so we will perform our ultimate pretty soon. And he wants to buff up again. Sadly we have no stun in hand. But what we will do now is we will go for the overhead swing, we will go for the small strikes to make him vulnerable, and we will use the broad reach for our ultimate. You can see that we are currently dealing 120 up to 180, and now with the broad reach buff we are up to 240 to 360. Right, that dealt quite a bit of damage. Alright, our opponent about to come in for 4 times 5 again, so we will stun him here and go for another overhead swing. With 20, so we will go for the block and just keep stacking up our ultimate again. 4 times 5 again, sadly just 1 block in hand, but 2 overhead swings, so we need to keep decreasing its armor. We will go down to 30 now. Okay, so he wants to buff up again, so we need to avoid that, so we will stun him, go for a normal attack. Coming in for 20, so overhead swing and small strikes again. 2 times 10, we can not block all of those, we have just 1 block card, so we will stun again and go for another overhead swing. Single one, it's great. So we just keep stacking. Okay, our opponent tends to buff himself up again, so we will stun, go for another hit. We are up to 17 charges. And now we need to stun him again, decrease the armor. We are up to 18. Alright. And next turn we will be able to finish him off. So we can go for another overhead swing, we will use the broad reach, and now we will deal... maybe not enough? Close, okay. So yeah, we will go for the small hits. We forgot to make him vulnerable again. But okay, that should settle the deal. Alright, so that was the tutorial boss.
Well, colour me impressed. I didn't expect that. Have you been here before and I just didn't recognise you? Anyway, after that performance, I'll assume you don't need any more direction. So, I'll send you to your destination. Your main objective for now will be to push forwards, survive, kill the 4 Guardians. Then we'll talk.
Alright, so that was the tutorial boss, and now we will enter the village where we will come back to after every run that we do, which we will do several. And yeah, so this is the village and we can run around here. I really enjoy the setting. You can see that a lot of these houses just have those dots in front of them. What we need to do, we need to go into out into the weirdness, and there we can find villagers for this village here and fill this place with some life, because so far there's nothing going on except for this guy, the lost soul.
It's not
At least that's
a creature.
the man
I've already met you.
So here we get our first quest that says, I've seen an enormous creature out there, a golem of stone. I'd say getting rid of that beast would be a good start. And so we have our first quest. That is, slay the stone golem. So, we have different things here in our map. Here down on the left you can see that we have weird candles, which is currently not active. We will need those candles to be able to move outside of the village and not get corrupted. What that means is that our deck gets infected with cards that give us negative buffs, so when you're around out of the village you should have a candle burning just to not get any negative effects from the weirdness. So we have a little minimap in here, we have our quest log, and up here we have our current level, we have our character panel that we can get into, we have our items, our rune stones, quests, and our deck. Here you can see the types of cards again, attack and stance cards, and our hero himself, where you can get back to all of the informations again, masteries, passive skills, and so on and so on. There are also a lot of different items that you can check out, and rune stones are also very interesting, but we will get to that with the first run that we are about to take. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so let's get outside, and you can immediately see...
Good. I caught you before you went out, all on your lonesome. Our mutual friend already told you to slay the stone golem. Perfect. The golem is just a start, though. Even if you do manage to kill it, the further you go, the more dangerous the road will become. And since we're talking roads, you're walking within the weirdness now, and it's dangerous. Take these candles, light them up, and try not to let this damned fog close around you. Got it? Oh, and before you face the golem, look around the area. There's a blacksmith nearby who might be willing to join your village. Finding people like him will be crucial for your survival. Each one will be helpful in a different way. And with that, I'm out. Good luck.
So that's what I just explained earlier. Now we've activated one of the candles, and now we will look around and try to find some enemies from which we'll grow. Alright, so we are back, so I will play this a bit faster now. Ah yeah, and our candles also give us some additional cards that have an activated ability if we play them now, and maybe a buff or debuff for our next turn if we are not playing them. I don't want to use this attack because next turn I will gain additional damage. So this turn I will just prepare for the incoming attack and decrease our opponent's armor to be able to finish him off next turn, hopefully. Alright, we won't do that, but what we'll do, deal some heavy hits there and finish him off. Yeah, great. So now we gotta level up, and we can check out for some new cards that we wanna add to our deck. And now the deck building starts. And we need to check out what we think is very useful. What I like about this game, if you hover over a card and leave your mouse there, you get a detailed description of everything that the card does. Like for example here, attack, hit and cleave damage. Or right here where we have attack, hit, stun, armor and so on and so on. I'm a big fan of duplicating cards, and maybe I will pick this one. I also like the random attack, but it costs 2. The Skullcracker costs 3, so I will go for the double pain card for the start. Since we got a new level, we can also pick a new passive skill. Duplicate every 5th attack card type played. Unused blocks last for 1 additional turn, that is very powerful, and at the start of each turn gain 2 ultimate charges. Some very good stuff. I'm a big fan of working with blocks, so I will go for the blocking expert for the start. The physical training also sounds very appealing, but let's go for the blocking expert for the start. That also works very well with our duplicate card. Alright, we will just keep looking around, trying to find some villagers and prepare for the fight against the stone golem. So, remember to hover over your opponents and read what they do. This enemy will deliver more hits each turn unless it's stunned. Very important to know. And this one, for one, we get to stun a random enemy, so we should do that. We can prepare 1 block And then... Alright, so... Now we are already at the point where we would need 3 blocks. Sadly we have no in hand, and that is why we will work on taking out one of those guys as fast as possible. So we will focus our damage on this guy, and sadly we cannot take him out this turn, but we should be able to do it now. Still not enough, we need to use our ultimate now. But so we got rid of one guy already. Alright. So we will stun this guy now. And just keep stacking up. Due to the fact that we stunned him, he's now way weaker again. And we should play this one, just because of the fact that we don't want to lose damage next turn. And we will go for another stun. Alright, so we will go for another block, and we will just keep stacking up. So now we can duplicate a block to block both attacks and go for some small strikes again. We should have finished him off there with our ultimate, but we can still do that now. So that fight was already a bit tougher, but we just found the Ancient Wanderer.
One weapon in his hand and
Before you get...
We can learn a new skill, or we can forget a skill. Removing cards from your deck is very interesting in the game because it increases the chance of getting the card that you actually need, but we just got one new card, so we can go for a new skill and check this out here. So all of these cards cost 1, that's always helpful to read first. Deal 1 damage for 75 damage. If the enemy intends to attack, stun it. That is great. Here we have reduced the enemy's armor by 50 and damage by 10% for the next 5 turns. Not bad, very helpful against boss monsters. Here we have deal 1 hit for 150% damage. Upgrade for every enemy killed by this card, increase its damage by 200% until end of combat. Finishing blow, also very powerful. Still I want to focus on a defensive playstyle, so I will go for the crippling attack. This is not my preferred class, but yeah, we'll give it a try. Our candle just went out, so I activated a new one. And here we have to fight against a pack of enemies. I want to avoid bigger groups for now. Here we have the treasure pile that is always guarded by a very strong monster. So I'd like to get a level up before I face a 3-pack unit of enemies. So we will check out what we have here. This one is protected by 2 enemies. We should be able to take those guys. Okay, so there we have a statue, the sleeper statue, that says wakes up after absorbing blood of its fallen ally. Better let it sleep in its petrified shell. And this guy says this enemy's power changes depending on your Wyrd candle's burn level. Alright, so currently he's sadly very buffed up. He's going for 3 attacks, but we can immediately use our crippling attack, and that should stun him. So if that works out, we can, or we should, first increase or decrease our opponent's armor, and then we stun him. Yeah, that stunned him, nice, and he took quite a bit of damage. Because we didn't play the candle card, we will gain 10 barrier now, that's where it came from. So this guy again wants to hit us with 3 attacks, so we can duplicate a block card and we can go for a small attack. Our barrier did a good job there, and now he intends to attack all enemies. We are just 1. So what we will do now is we will go for armor reduction. We will go for some He is vulnerable at the moment, so we can go for the broad reach in addition to that and stun him. Next turn we need to remember that the sleeper statue is about to wake up, and those guys are tough. So what we'll do, we will finish this guy off, and this one is about to come at us with 2 times 5 up to 6 damage. So I think for the start we will just stun him. Alright, again, same thing. We can gain 50 damage this turn, that's good. But first we will duplicate our block. And yeah, so this card won't help us as we cannot play another damage card, so we will just go for some smaller hits. Alright, he will attack us again, so we will decrease his armor, we will use the broad reach and we will stun him. And by that also finish him off. We got another level up. Alright, so what we can do now, we have different costs in our cards. Reduce enemies' armor by 100% of your damage until the end of combat. That's not bad. We have the Blood Frenzy, a card that deals a lot of damage to all enemies, but we offer HP, and yeah, that's not the thing that we usually want to go for. HP is very valuable here. I like the draw card because we get to draw 4 cards, and in my first playthrough of the game this was one of the best cards that I had. So I have good experience with that card, I will go for it. And we just found this confident priestess.
There are old customs that protect the traveling priests of the All-Mother. The one you see before you, walking through the weirdness at a brisk, confident pace, doesn't seem to realize or care that this protection is unlikely to extend here.
We can ask
Before
to be
you have
healed.
a chance to ask her for anything, something leaps out of the weirdness.
Okay, so we are getting attacked. Okay, those are some tough opponents. 2 attacks coming in, they also have a healer, and the buff says for every living ally plus 10 armor, minus 10 damage. Redirects damage from all of his allies, okay. Gets interrupted by a stun. So we need to prepare for those attacks, so we will duplicate the block card that we have, and we will, well, if this guy takes the redirect damage, we will work him down first and decrease its armor. Sure, for now he gets healed, but I think we can still work around that. We can stun him, so we can have a very offensive turn here. I will stun him, and then yeah, just get stacks for our ultimate ability. So due to the fact that he is stunned now, we interrupted the redirect mechanic, so we can also give the healer a hit. Okay, that guy just blocked stuff, or is about to block, so we can stun another guy. We will go for a block to protect us from him. Go for another hit here. Right, just 1 attack coming in, so we can get 1 block down, decrease the armor again, get some stacks for our ultimate. Okay. Again, we wanna duplicate our blocks and keep decreasing its armor. Alright, we can stun him, and we can, I think we should take the healer out first when we find some windows for that. Okay, so nothing else we can do here, but next turn we will gain 10% damage. So let's see what we can do with that. Guess we have to work around not getting beaten up by... I want to keep saving my ultimate, but we also need to protect ourselves. So we can go for 1 block, we can duplicate our next card and give this guy another overhead swing to decrease his armor by 20%. Okay. So we can stun him, we can prepare a block, and we can keep charging up our ultimate ability. Okay, one attack coming in. So at the moment our ultimate is at fully charged, so next turn we should work around using it. It healed the tank a bit, so what we'll do now... Sadly our block got increased. Yeah, we will try to take our opponent out here. Okay, one gone, and we can still use the block to not receive any damage. Okay, so no attacks coming in, so we can deal a lot here. We will duplicate our small strikes to get a lot of stacks for our ultimate. And yeah, we can keep working on this guy. Okay, we are about to take one hit from him. Because we are doing so well currently, we will rush this guy. Okay. Next turn we should be able to take him out. So we will get some more charges for our ultimate ability. And we can also use our broad rage here. Okay, next one down. Here we are now getting attacked also by the healer. That is very interesting, but we are prepared for that. Keep decreasing its armor. And this turn we should be able to settle the deal. Nice.
Praise the Mother. I'm glad you're here.
Nice. Trust increased.
Settle this once and for all. If All Mother is still with us, she will protect me. If not, I'd rather die anyway. Now let me be on my way and you go on yours. With my blessing.
Reluctantly, she reveals that she went into the weirdness of her own free will.
Ever since we landed on Avalon, I've seen so much evil. Men killing each other for a slice of bread. Parents drowning their children so that their cries don't draw a weird spawn. It's so hard to believe the Mother still watches over us. I'm on a pilgrimage, trying to visit all of the shrines raised throughout these lands in the name of the All-Mother.
You realize that with the world being in constant flux, stuck between various times and realities, her pilgrimage will probably never end.
Take pity on her or be on our way. Oh, let's be a nice guy.
Since your journey will take you to various places anyway, you might as well help out. You can see that she's exhausted but grateful.
Here, it's an incense blessed by the High Priestess. Use it to perform a ritual at all of the All-Mother's altars you can find, and hope that, in time, you'll be able to purify and shield them from corruption.
Alright.
I'm too far away from the altar to cast spells like that. I can give you some potions or teach you a certain technique, though. It's your choice.
Okay, so we could get a legendary card, or we could take the healing potions. I think for the interest of the community we will go for the legendary card. And we got the All-Mother's Blessing. It creates 100 barrier and it has 2 charges. And charges mean that after completely using those charges, the card is lost permanently. Alright, so we got that. Still a very tough fight and long fight also. But okay, here we have something very important, a milestone. In the area of these milestones we don't need to use our candles, and that is very helpful for us. But depending on how far we move away, we need to accept that we have to keep going. Okay, we are at the hanging tree now, pack of enemies. Let's go. Alright, so we will go and duplicate our block and keep decreasing the armor. Alright, so one of them is about to intends to attack us, so we will stun this one guy, create a block and attack all of them. So there again, going for an attack, we will place a block and we will keep decreasing its armor. Alright, so due to the fact that they are attacking everybody on the field, yeah, they are also dealing damage to themselves. Alright, so decrease armor, multiple hits, and our ultimate should settle the deal. Nice, another level up. Okay, so what we can do now, trap. This turn gain 50 armor and stun every enemy that hits you. Charge your ultimate ability to half of its maximum charges, okay. Raging Blade is a very funny card if you have a lot of card draw, which we actually have with the draw card. We could build around that, but we need a lot of bonus energy, so I think for now we will take it, or we could go for the trap. I'm interested in playing the trap with the Wyrdhunter, but Raging Blade also interesting, but it costs 2, the trap costs 1. Yeah, let's go for the trap. Okay, pick a new passive skill. Whenever you play 2 or less cards in a turn, your first hit in the next turn deals 400% damage. Very powerful. Start every combat with 10 ultimate charges, also not bad. Increase the maximum damage you deal by 6. 2 or less cards in a turn. So let's say we kind of like duplicate, so we would always leave at least 1 energy open. I mean the slow thinker, the 400 damage, also the 400% damage is really nice, but I think this run we will go for Blood and Fire. And now let's check out this hanging tree.
As you approach the tree, you draw closer, and dozens of rotting bodies dangle and sway in the breeze. It looks like a strange dance with their necks nodding along in their nooses.
So we might lose some HP here.
Something falls out of one of the corpse's pockets. You catch it just before it lands on the ground.
Cracked Calc, okay. That is a runestone. What I like about the runestones here is that they have offensive and defensive effects. This one is already a very good one. In the first turn of combat, draw 1 additional card with cost reduced by 1. So it can be a free block. In the armor slot it is also a very good one, because heal for 4 HP after every combat 1, and HP is really rare in this game, so already pretty good start. Here we have an Elderly Archer that is, yeah, also with a pack of enemies. Let's try to free him. Alright, so this is going to be tough just because of the fact that this thing redirects again and this one keeps stacking up. So we need our stun for this guy. I wonder if it stuns if it redirects the damage. Okay, it still stuns him, that's good to know. So we can go for the block. We will use this and keep stacking our ultimate. Alright, so he is about to... I think here we could take a defensive turn and hit and stun all of our opponents. So we will duplicate our block, and we lost 1 energy because of the candle card we didn't play. So we will just block all the opponent's hits this turn. Okay, so we can stun one of him because we need to reset his attack counter and also place a block card to not get hit by that guy. So we can duplicate our block again and go for a normal hit on him. Our ultimate sadly is still not strong enough, but we are getting there. So we can stun him again, redirect the damage. And now also keep decreasing the armor. Another interesting thing is, if you see the damage here, it's 10 to 24. Here it's 20 to 24, and here it's now 25 to 58. So it also adjusts depending on to which enemy you draw it. Sadly, we had to take a hit there. And now we also need to check out, we need to finish one of those guys off. So we will go for the block, keep stacking our ultimate, buff our ultimate and use it. Alright. Luckily we were also able to block. 2 hits incoming, that's bad, because we only have 1 block card. So we can go and draw 4 cards and stun him. Alright, so we start from the beginning. We can now, due to the fact that we will stun him, we will use our buff up and hit very hard. That's easily blockable and alright, so we can stun him again. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of the stun mechanics, it's so helpful. 4 to 9, 6 to this, and so, and so, and so. Nice. So, what does the elderly archer tell us?
Find an elder.
Oh, a visitor. I haven't.
With a gesture, he invites.
Beautiful, is it? The question shouldn't be who I am, my friend. Not much, since I failed to fulfill. Well, that's
okay, so this guy failed one of his tasks,
What I do.
but we just got our trust increased, so we will sit by the fire.
You form a question in your mind, but when you look into the man's eyes, you decide to leave it for another time and turn your eyes to.
Alright, so here's what we can get now. We can lose 10% HP, remove 1 card from our deck. We can lose 10% HP, we can gain a level. Or we can lose 10% HP and gain a legendary card. Legendary cards are powerful, but due to the fact that they have charges, not worth losing HP, but I think it's worth to gain another level. And now we can work with this here. What do we have? We have Preparation that costs 0 and increases our damage by 10% until end of combat. So combat is the whole fight scenario, so that's already a good card. The Shield Breaker also great because it reduces the opponent's armor until end of combat by 20. And so a better overhead swing, but I think that the Preparation makes more sense. The Storm of Blades also nice, but it's against random enemies, so yeah, not that big of a fan. We will take the Preparation. Alright, we get a free block here, and we will just use it. We can use our Rod Reach, go for an attack, stun our opponent, and start all over again. So. And now we we have our block, so we can go for a double overhead swing, decrease armor and deal additional damage and finish this guy off. So as you can see, our deck is getting stronger, our character is also getting better. Here we have another milestone. Boost this one. Here's another pack of enemies. So let's go for that. Alright, so this one, it takes him 2 turns to prepare his special attack, and it will also redirect damage. We have a preparation in hand, so always wise to play that. Could have also duplicated it just for the fact of we will stun our opponent anyway, so I clicked a bit too fast there. You can stun an enemy, but no need for that, as we will do it anyways. And yeah, then we can duplicate our small strikes. And that already dealt a lot of damage. So now we can go for 2 overhead swings, keep decreasing armor, go for small hits, and we should be able to finish it off. Yep, nice. Alright, so this thing, infected human, this enemy's shape and the pulsation of its body suggests that you should be prepared for an explosive surprise. Alright. So, what we'll do, we will use a block, we can outrage, and we will go for an attack. But that will explode anyways and leave a small guy behind. Should be able to finish him off this turn. No? Okay, so we will block his attack. And now finish him off. Alright. He's on Blood Altar.
However you can.
Shall we pray? Let's check it out. Pray for wealth. No. Pray for experience. Yes. And we could remove a card from our deck, but we will go for the level up. Alright, what do we have? We have Stronghold. Gain 20 armor for the next 3 turns. Chain. Multiplies the card's effect by the number of cards of the same type played in a row during this turn. So what it means that for every stance card that we have played, so there are already nice combos available with that. We have the chain attack. Deal 1 hit for 125% damage, duplicate the next card played. Also interesting, but with a cost of 2, not that interesting. I think that the Stronghold is very interesting because protection from evil reduces damage by all enemies by 30% for 3 turns. Not that attractive because we always want to try to just keep blocking. We will take the Stronghold. Whenever you kill an enemy, draw 2 cards with its cost reduced by 1. Very powerful. Whenever you hit an enemy, increase your armor by 7 this turn. Just for this turn, so not that good in my opinion. First attack card played in each combat costs 0 energy. So we will take the haste and keep going. Okay. So here's a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Oh, there's a blacksmith. We need this guy. So let's try to free him. Alright, so what we'll do is we will go for the overhead strike. We will also gain some armor because we will take a hit. Then we also place some small strikes just to keep charging up our ultimate. That sadly doesn't deal enough damage to finish him off right now. So now we will stun him. Should have reduced its armor first. And we should still draw the cards because we might draw the preparation, which we sadly didn't. That is. Okay, so we have no duplicate card in hand. But I think if we go like this, 16, not that well played by me. I should have done it in a different order. Okay, we were still lucky. Alright, so he's about to attack us. We still have one block from one of our passive skills. And so what we will do is we will try to go for as much damage as possible. So we will reduce his armor. We will increase the dex damage of our next hit. And yeah, we can still go for our ultimate. Okay, he survived by 1. And here we have our blacksmith.
I have.
Not
Oh, I found me. Oh,
Rune stones.
yeah. You can
We already
also,
saw
yeah,
that.
I'd say that since you know what you're
And
looking
we just got some. And now I would like to have this guy in our village. He's now there. And we should check out the runestones that we just got. That is great. We will use this one here and hopefully recharge some health over time. So, and now it seems like there are not that many monsters left on this map, so we are about to face the boss of this first stage, but we will still take care of this pack of enemies. And we know this constellation, so we will go for our block card. We can... That's very helpful. Reduce all of our opponent's armor. We will just get 1 hit, we have 1 block. We could gain a lot of armor, but currently we still need to play more stance cards. I think what we definitely do is go for the overhead swing. And yeah, we have our block. We could look for the preparation, sadly didn't get it. Alright, there it is. So we will go for that. We need to stun something. We still have 2 available, and due to the fact that he is stunned, he doesn't redirect. And now we are about to take 1 again, so we will use our block. We are now prepared for that. We will go for some small strikes that will redirect and go for a normal hit. Alright, another preparation. We will take 2, so we will draw first, see what we draw. Alright, we can stun one of those guys. And now we prepare a block. Alright. We could use some damage this turn. Yeah, this is not going so well. We are taking way too much damage, sadly, this run. So, go for 2 blocks here. And due to the fact that he redirects anyways, but now he's done for it. And now we can take out the other guys. Alright. Some damage there. And we can gain some armor due to the fact that those guys won't attack us now. One of them is about to attack us, so we can go for heavy stun, I'd say. And in addition to that, hit him, finish him off. Yep, better draw another card. Okay, play another preparation. Can duplicate some cards. And let's duplicate our broad reach here. Go up to 340%. And finish him off. Seeking
Just so
Traveler.
you notice that
I have.
We will give him a candle.
Thank you.
he continues.
Trust increased. Yeah, let's be a good guy. So up here, there are still 2 enemies left. Alright, another sleeping statue. This enemy will spawn totems to buff its allies with various effects. Okay. So we need to prepare for 2 incoming attacks, so that says we need to play 2 blocks. Then we can play the Stronghold. Now we got 60 armor for 3 turns. And we can start dividing some damage and getting those stacks for our ultimate. Now we are about to be hit, and this guy intends to buff, so we will stun him. And we will... Should have played the candle first, but okay, it happened. Reduce some armor. I think he's one of the heaviest attackers. Okay, this totem is pretty strong. Still not trying to focus it. But we can bring down 1 block. And we should get some armor, because we can stun those guys with that. And get some more charges in. Okay, due to the fact that he hit us, he is stunned now. We will go for the preparation. And now... due to the fact that we don't have any block, we will stun this guy and hit him. Can stun him, prepare a block, and divide some damage again. Should have been able to kill that guy. Our armor is being heavily decreased, that's not good, but... So we'll start off with this guy. Okay, totally forgot again that activates the sleeper. So we need to duplicate a block now. And in addition to that, we also... take care of one of those guys, so let's start working on him. We only have 2 energy for next turn, that was also not that good. And there's a heavy attack coming in, luckily from the left side, so we will just duplicate block. Okay, survived that. It ain't immune to stun, so we will stun it and stun this guy by hitting him. Okay. So now we have a problem, because it's about to hit us very hard, and this might be the point where this run ends here. If we cannot take it out right away. That was very lucky. Alright, so now we will work on finishing this guy here. First we will stun him. Then we will go for the candle attack to not lose any damage in the next turn. Now we should be able to finish him off. And with him, also all of his totems. That was a close one. We almost died there. And this is the interesting part about this game. It can happen so fast that you just die out of nowhere. I really enjoy it. Alright, so back here we have still the treasure pile. And down here we have this 1 pack of enemies. These guys are horrible opponents because every time you hit them you get infected with... well, you will see those cards. First we will prepare. We will also use a trap. Then we will probably chain to get a lot of armor, but before that we will go for block. Oh, we can stun an enemy. Okay, we will use a block. We will use a stun to the heaviest guys, and then go for the stronghold and go up to 70 armor. Alright. So we will duplicate the block, and then we will work on the left side, and this is what I meant, they infect our deck with these weird cards. Alright, so we will gain a block there, we will stun him, remove his card, keep decreasing his armor. We will prepare, we will get ready to block, increase damage, hit him and take him out. Nice. Continue with him. Can we take him out? No. Okay. So now we can duplicate our blocks. It's great. Gain 5 armor, gain 20% damage this turn now. Block their attacks. This one is about to hit hard, so we will have to stun him, use a block, remove him. As you might see, I'm not going for the small strikes because every hit gives us one of these red death cards, and these cards, small strikes, just gives us 3 examples of those, so trying to dodge that. Nice. Now since it's just one, we can just go all out and finish him off. Nice, level 7. Now we have to think. First Slash is really good because it's a 0 cost card and can be found with our draw mechanic. The Fist of Stone also very helpful. Sure, it costs 2, but it deals a lot of damage and it reduces the opponent's armor, so I will go for that one. Let's see. Ruined Home. Yeah, we will look around, and we will always keep looking around. Warding Roar and Meat. Meat, very helpful because it restores HP. I will immediately eat some of that. And aside from that, we also got Warding Rope that creates a barrier. Alright. So I like to go for the stage's boss and then for the Treasure Guardian. And we also need to hurry because we are running low on our candle here. Don't worry, we can upgrade the duration of candles. But it might be that this is the first time that I'll have struggled with that, but luckily we activated the milestone here, so no problems with that, and now we will go for the legendary encounter. Okay, so this guy is a tough one, especially for our class, because every 10th hit he will drop some armor, lose some armor, but that will be a minion. So yeah, we have to work around that. We will start by decreasing his armor. We need 1 block for his attack, so we will start off with the block first. Also, if we stun him, he will drop a minion just on trigger. Alright, so we have our block prepared, we have 2 energy left, and we will do our first overhead swing, decrease his armor, very important. Still having 2 left. I'm not a fan of using these small strikes that early, because every hit counts for him to drop one of his allies, and those would be 3 hits for barely any damage, and you can see that we need to work down 1k, so we will just go for buffed up overhead swing, and that's it for now. First we will decrease his armor and then we will see about the rest. 3 small attacks coming in, so we could stun him now. And yeah, that is really, really bad for us currently. Could stun him, but then we would already have an opponent, so I would say we start by drawing first. Preparation, great. We have not enough blocks in hand. We could stun him, I think. Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. And there you can see he got his little minion. Should have blocked there because now we will take damage from the small one. Yep, that was a mistake. Alright, so we will take a lot of damage here. Let's try to work around by playing many stance cards and then duplicating our stronghold to not take that much damage, and we will better also activate one of our legendary cards. A gamble, always a good thing to do. Preparation, great. We are barely taking damage now, so, and we have a lot of barrier, so we will buff up our overhead swing and just use blocks to work around what is about to come. 11 to 16, 2 to 3. Could stun the golem, not what we want to do. We want to decrease its armor and still have enough barrier. So we don't have, yeah, there's also always a full cycle of your cards, so there's no zero card that we can draw, so the draw stance doesn't make sense right now. We will just go for a hit and we will not stun the golem, because currently we can still take the damage. And we could go for more armor and stun him. So I think we are getting close to the point where we can also work with the small strikes. Right, another preparation, great. Should have duplicated it, maybe. Okay, we got another risk. Now, again, we will take a lot of damage. But we have energy. We can play all our 4 cards. So we will try to deal a lot of damage there. We can finish off the small one. But I think we need to damage our main boss that just summoned another minion. But we gained some armor back. So 27 up to 60. Luckily we can also stun the smaller ones. We have 1 block. Barely matters. Stun. So let's stun the small one. Alright, so this one is about to hit hard. Either we remove the small one here, 42-91 with our ultimate to block the big attack. That's actually what we need to do, so let's make sure that we can secure that. Let's hope for the best. That was good. Stagger up again, and let's get rid of the small one. Could use another block, but not gonna use it right now. Another hit, that was a big one. Still use it, just to have it out of the pile. Pop that one. 2 incoming, but we have our Fist of Stone again. That can really hit hard, so let's buff it up. Finish him off. Nice. Alright, so that was the first stage's boss.
The golem collapses and shatters into thousands of pieces at your feet. You feel a strange surge of power in the air. Suddenly, a familiar creature appears.
And who could that be?
Good. That was good. Congratulations.
You instantly recognize this voice. It's the goat-legged creature you've met before.
You see, the problem with weirdness is that it's an uncontrollable mess. Is there something you want? Really, really want? Snap your fingers. Here you go. There it is, right in front of you.
He looks at you, clearly unimpressed by the fact that you even exist.
If you're Avalonian, that is. You, people of the homelands, never found out how to control this power. And the problem is that you tried, because obviously you did. You know which human emotion is the strongest.
Strongest emotion. Let's say love?
Yes, and every answer was correct. All
Oh,
of these
okay.
emotions made an impact on the force that surrounds us, that envelops this island, and it tried to give back. You hate somebody? Wish them death? Snap of your fingers, and here you go. A clear personification of your feelings standing right in front of you. However, since you're not a four-armed Avalonian wizard, you can't control it, can you?
He pauses, his expression one of hesitance. Maybe he said too much.
Anyway, as I've said before, good job. There are 3 more of those for you to get rid of, and then we can call it a day. This day, this time, in this timeline. Also, another path opened for you, with another surprise at the end. Oh, and before you go, I have even more good news for you. Yes, you guessed right, you deserve a reward.
We will take the new passive skill. Every 10th card played in one combat increases your damage by 10% until end of combat. Very good for combo decks. At the start of every turn, gain plus 25 damage for the next hit. Not that interesting. Draw 2 more cards in the first turn of combat. Also not that interesting. I'm a fan of these combo cards and just stacking up. Alright guys, here we can return to the village, and yeah, I'd say I stopped my recording here. We did the first one, we cleared the first stage. We still have to go for the treasure, if I remember correctly. Luckily we have a candle that we can still go there, and as you can see, the portal is drawing close to us. The whole atmosphere of this game is just great in my opinion. See how it's drawing towards us. It really wants us to go home, but you cannot get that close. Alright guys, so as I said, I will stop my run here and see you at the next one.